And now a spot, especially against weak regulars, recreational players who are not familiar with playing the small blind aggressively. So what we want to be looking here is on the small blind, how to react against aggression from the big blind. If the big blind is not 3-betting enough or ISO raising enough. So we have the first scenario here. You see, you have to 3-bet a lot of unnatural hands, which a lot of bad players won't find. So also we reduce this here only by 2%. And this is what I try to train into you. That when you see, okay, this guy is not just tighter, he's a fucking nit, then you know that king, queen off should not be defended against a 3-bet. So let's have a look what we're supposed to do against such a player if we raise the small blind. In GTO, you know, always mixing blind versus blind. In the exploitative section, you see that that's what I meant. Even king, queen off now is a break-even defend against a 3-bet. We are also 50% of the field left. So the ICM consideration is already there. The other scenarios were either money bubble or final table. Obviously, ICM is clear. If it's not ICM or final table, we solve these exploitative scenarios very often with a slight ICM impact, which applies at 50% of the field left. Makes this whole sim, this whole strategy a lot more realistic. Obviously, you need to adjust if it's very early, if it's chippy V. And we also assume that the guy is raising a little bit less against limps. So here, if he ISO raises us, you see that from folding 38%, we fold 71%. Absolutely insane. I mean, we're even limp folding ace-2 off, ace-3 off, which is absolutely crazy. All right, playing against the big stack. Do you guys think that for this scenario, no short stack, hijack has 150 big blinds, that this is a reasonable opening range? I think most players are probably going to be looser than that. I don't think anyone is going to fold in off-suited days, a little bit more of the suited hands. So what we did is here increase from 38 to 46%. This is a realistic range, and I want to teach you how to adjust properly against big stacks. Also, let's have a look what we do versus 3-bet against button. And we see that here that in GTO, the hijack player is supposed to be shoving 28% and calling 11%. I find this range also very uncomfortable for the chip leader, and especially shoving suited broadways 100% of the time, shoving the suited aces like 60-70% of the time. It's pretty optimistic. So what we did here is removed some of the jams. I think a lot of the hands will be defend. In fact, you see we have the hijack defend more hands. You see we tell hijack, all right, you know, we're so deep, we can easily afford calling a 3-bet, even if it's a big 3. We say, all right, be a calling station. No, we call 6% more. We're just shoving less. So it's not a massive change. So what happens to your 3-betting strategy? This is your GTO strategy. You're supposed to even induce with pocket 9s, 10s. So therefore you can 3-bet bluff pretty wide because there's no immediate short stack. Now, assuming that hijack open raises a bit more and also calls more against a 3-bet and not shoving as aggressive as a GTO, boom, this is what happens. And again, you will face a lot of opponents who open king deuce off here. You don't play back, they're gonna steal your buttons, your raise first in spots. And that's why you can't win tournaments. If you never make a 3-bet bluff with a garbage hand against a chip leader, then it's very likely you're being overrun, because in the current meta, big stacks and chip leaders are usually way too aggressive, way too loose, but it works because people are not playing back. So you can see how quickly we can get to such a ridiculous rebetting strategy. And you have to decide, do you want to belong to the side that's like, oh, this is ridiculous, like with his solver in charge, or do you want to belong to the group to finally understand that we play against human beings and human beings make a lot of mistakes? Boom, you see what happens.